Hello, IJ76 Ian here, and we're about to start the Christmas Cup round 2, and we're away from 8th place here at Spa-Francorchamps. Not a very good start. A couple of drivers get past us. We're down to 9th already. We run a little bit wide into La Source. So as I said, this is round 2. We're in the 1996 Williams that was driven by Damon Hill and Jacques Villeneuve. Those two battle for the championship all season. Hill coming out on top in the final race in Japan. We qualified 8th. There was no qualifying because we've got a reverse grid. We weren't on pole, even though we effectively were last in the last race because we crashed out, so that's fair enough. So we started 4 from the back, and we've almost maintained that position. We're in 9th. The good news is the sun is shining here at Spa, though there are some ominous clouds around, so we possibly may get some rain later on. I found this a really fun car to drive, actually. You've got to get used to the fact that compared with the modern cars, there's not half as much downforce. The braking, you've got to brake a little bit earlier, but it feels quite nice. It feels smooth, and I was quite confident that we could actually have a reasonably competitive race. Again, up against a lot of drivers that are generally faster than us. People from F4, I believe, down to F8 where we are, and the assist league below, and some other drivers that are pretty quick but not in AOR F1 2017 league so far. And we go through the fan chicane here. We run a little bit wide, but Washi, who's leading our F8 here, runs wide as well. We make up a position, and there's 2 cars that crash in front of us, and suddenly we find ourselves incredibly into 5th place. But we've got Aidika, oh no, More Than Amazing, sorry, comes up on the inside, the lead coordinator, and here Washi come together, and we crash into More Than Amazing, and we've slightly damaged our wing, I believe. And what an absolutely frantic first lap that was. And somehow we survived. We're in 6th place. I was feeling as we go through Blanchemont whether the wing was actually damaged. You can't really see any damage, and it didn't feel too bad, so it certainly wasn't a case of coming into the pits at this point. So up to 6th place, run very wide into the final chicane. I find that quite tricky to get the braking. You have to brake a lot earlier than you do in the 2017 cars. But as you can see, More Than Amazing and I are having a great race here. He's gone round the outside to La Source. He runs very wide, and we might be able to get down the inside here, down to the run up to Eau Rouge. I moved to Rich Mix on the fuel to give us a little bit more power here. Now, I found Eau Rouge with my setup, it was almost flat, just a little lift. And I think More Than Amazing perhaps did go flat, but he's run wide, so we're going to try and get a run on him. No DRS, remember, in the 1996 cars, so it's genuine overtakes. You have to really use the slipstream and outbrake the guys. We come into the right hand here at Le Combe, and our line is not too bad, and we're catching More Than Amazing. I had a thought that maybe we could have a go down the inside here, but we couldn't. But later on in the lap, we go through Stavelot, and More Than Amazing has a big crash on the outside, reminiscent of Verstappen, I think, in the Arrows, and Fisichella in the Benetton had 2 big crashes there in the 90s. Now we're on to lap 4, and we're chasing down Washi, which I was quite surprised at, as he's our championship leader quicker than me. I subsequently discovered he'd had a little bit to drink, and he crashes on the left hand side. Remember, kids, don't drink and drive. But we're up to 5th. Now coming into the pits now, the end of lap of 5. It's been raining for about 3/4 of a lap. It's possibly a little bit too early to put on the wet tyres, but I thought I was going to go for it anyway. I think it's such a long lap here. If it started to really rain heavily, I'll probably end up crashing. So we come in. There's no choices of intermediates or wets back in the 1996 season, so it's purely dry tyres onto wet tyres. And you'll see their grooved mark there. And we're going to come out, I think, very close to Ben from our F8 league, who normally races the Ferrari. David Ben is his gamer tag, and he's going to come down the outside of us here, and he is still on, it says D, which is, they used to have compounds A, B, C and D, so he's still on the dry tyres at this point. But on the start of lap 7 we find ourselves up ahead of David Ben, who's come in and made those stops to the wet tyres, and now it's going to be a case of him trying to chase us down. He's normally quicker than us, so it's going to be a challenge, and I held the gap reasonably well. It did yo-yo to and fro, but on this lap, the very last lap, he's now pretty close to us. As you can see, it's really starting to rain, so I'm being really, really cautious on the throttle. Keep looking behind me in my mirrors, as you'll see here. Try not to brake too early. See, Frandy Thompson's already won his 2nd race out of 2 in the Christmas Cup, and we're trying to hang on to what would be a really excellent 5th place. But David Bennett pushes hard. You can see on the map on the bottom left hand side, the second yellow dot is right with us, so he's around about second or less behind us, and we just try not to outbrake ourselves under pressure. Very cautious through the right hander here, and again not trying to take any or much curb, because you can easily spin it up on that. Down to Puon in 4th gear, and he is right with us. He could have a go down to the Founder chicane, but he's not quite close enough. It's very easy to run wide here. I do run a bit wide, but in the wet that's not too bad actually. That keeps the line okay, and I really wanted this 5th place. So coming up through Stavelot, he is so close to us. Who's going to get the best exit for this long drag up and through Blanchemont? We do move to 6th, only 6 gears in this car in 1996. We take that reasonably well, but he's right there with us. Is he going to have a dive up the inside? I'm trying not to outbrake myself, but I'm a little bit cautious. The line is not very good. I'm too cautious on the second phase here, and he comes and just pops us out to the outside. In fairness, Ben did send me a message to say sorry for that. So it looked like we'd lost 5th place, but actually he'd already had a 10-second penalty, so we were able to finish in 5th, but that was a fun battle. So the podium, Frandy Thompson, the Norwegian driver, won again. Advanced Apple from Croatia was in 2nd place, and Wim Stradamus from Holland was in 3rd. They're the final standings. Only 11 drivers took part in this race. As you can see, there were 4 people that crashed out, and Washi was declared a lap down as well. The next race will be on the 27th of December in Monza, and will be considerably faster cars, the Ferrari from 2002.